Hey, what's up guys? It's Alicia Chilled Out, and yes, I know I've been away from YouTube for a very long time. I don't really have an excuse, I just didn't really know what types of videos you guys wanted to see or what types of videos I wanted to make. But I'm back and hopefully I can get onto a regular schedule. And yeah, this is my first video back, and today I'm going to be talking to you about why sometimes wax melts and candles can frost. Some waxes, just in general, are more prone to frosting than others. That's just how it goes sometimes. I do find that soy wax tends to frost more than paraffin wax. And yeah, that's the main reason. It's just the type of wax that you're using. However, if you want two really good waxes that I've had like little to no frosting with, is Eco-Soy wax and Kerasoy wax. I've had no real issues with frosting with those two waxes. So if you are looking for a wax that doesn't frost, try those two waxes out. Okay, another reason why your wax melts might be frosting is because when it was poured and you've left it to cool, you've left it in a place where there's been many temperature changes. Like you've either left it in a draft, or you left it in a place that's too warm, or you've just left it in a place where the temperature isn't constant. So if you can keep your wax melts in a place where it's just going to cool gradually at room temperature, that will help minimize frosting. So yeah, like just remember to keep your wax melts after they've been poured, or your candles after they've been poured, in a place where they can cool evenly. You don't want a place where it's too hot on one side and too cold on the other side, because that's just going to cause crystals and the frosting that you don't like. So yeah, just keep it in a place where it can cool evenly. Okay, another reason why your wax melts might be frosting, why your candles might be frosting, is because your wax is too old. I don't really know the science behind it, but if you've got like newer wax or wax that you've just bought, or fresh wax, it tends to frost less than older wax. I don't know why this is, but if you just don't keep your wax for too long, or if you're going to use it quickly, because you don't want to cause frosting in your candles or your wax melts. So yeah, just remember, newer wax tends to frost less than older wax. Like I said, I don't know the science behind it, but just, don't keep your wax around for too long. If you're going to use it, just use it. Another reason why your wax melts and why your candles might be frosting is because when you've added the fragrance oil or when you've added the dye, you're stirring it way too quickly. And when you do that, you create air bubbles, and this can lead to frosting. So just remember, when you're adding those things, just gradually stir it in. Just gradually stir in the fragrance oil, gradually stir in the dye, because this will lead to less air bubbles, and this will lead to less frosting, which is ultimately what you want. It's because of the type of dye that you're using. Just some dyes just don't work well with the wax that you're using. So you're gonna have to do a little bit of experimentation when it comes to making your wax melts and your candles. But here's a tip. I find that liquid dye causes way less frosting than chip dye. So just keep that in mind when you're making your wax melts. But like I said, you're gonna have to do some experimentation, because some waxes work well with liquid dye, some waxes work well with chip dye. But yeah, that's one of those things you're just gonna have to look into, and it's kind of just like a trial and error type thing. Another way to combat frosting is to pour the wax at a lower temperature. Yes, this might seem counterintuitive, but it really does help. This is because when the wax is at a lower temperature, it's more sticky. Therefore, it has less of a chance to create crystals and less chance to create frosting. And that's ultimately what you want at the end of the day. So yeah, just pour it at a slightly lower temperature than you're used to. Okay, for my final tip, and this by far is the best tip you're going to receive, don't worry about it. Trust me when I say this, nobody cares about frosting on a wax melt or a candle. Yes, you might think it looks a bit ugly or it messes with the aesthetics of your candles or your wax melts, but trust me, nobody cares about it. I've never had in my entire time of making candles, of making wax melts, anybody complain about the frosting on a candle. It's just something that happens sometimes, and it's just it doesn't really matter. Trust me when I say this, really trust me when I say this, nobody cares. So yeah, those were my tips on frosting, and I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.